vibrate. Keep an eye on your arms, elbows, and cells. On the outside rail there, just in case we do come up against a wall, a sidewalk, or another boat on this tour. And also, because it is an air-rated tour, do need everyone on board to remember, do need to keep your voices down a little bit out of both common courtesy for the other paying guests on board, and also very important so that I myself may hear the radio calls as we sail along through here as well, which are very important for me to be able to hear, so as to make sure that we don't have any ugly accidents along the river. But other than that, our first stop for our tour is Salinas Bridge that we're sailing underneath, named in honor of the famous Tejano singer Selena Quintanilla Perez, after Jennifer Lopez sat right here on this footbridge. First seen during the movie Selena of 1997, which if you all recall was her mainstream breakthrough role. They filmed right here on this footbridge behind us first seen during the evening. Afterwards, Jennifer Lopez spent the night in La Mansión del Rio Hotel to the left of our boat. Spanish for the mansion on the river was founded over a century ago in 1853 as the St. Mary's School for Boys. The latter was purchased by two former students of St. Mary's in 1966, who then reopened it 2 years later, 1968, as La Mansión del Rio Hotel. As a result, it's an excellent example of conservation, which is a bit of a major thing here in San Antonio, as many of the older, more historic buildings down here aren't always torn down. Many are preserved and restored thanks to the efforts of many local conservation activists down here, including the San Antonio Conservation Society. Let me show you some other great examples of conservation later in our tour, but first, you look at La Mansión del Rio Hotel to the left of our boat. Just past it, you'll see this very tall building right here, whose walls form a very sharp corner, less than 90 degrees. As a result, this tall building up here creates a really awesome little optical illusion along the riverwalk, where as we sail out from underneath the Navarro Street Bridge on the other side, you look way up to the left of the boat. From this view, this tall building up here looks like a tall, flat wall without the fallness. This right here was founded in 1930 as the Knicks General Hospital. At the time, the first full-service, fully air-conditioned hospital in the entire United States. Fortunately, they had to sell the property 4 years ago when it reopens. It's supposed to be reopening as a Marriott Hotel right alongside the south end up ahead of us here, otherwise known as the nightlife of the river all around us here at this point. Right in the heart of the South End is the Hyatt Regency Hotel up in front of our boat above Precious Street Bridge, which has the Alamo just on the other side of it. As a result, the Hyatt is only 16 floors tall. They wanted to make it taller, but they founded it in 1981, but the San Antonio Conservation Society convinced its owners to scale it down the size so that it wouldn't cast a shadow on the Alamo during sunset. Though they did reserve room on the bottom river level, the Hyatt up here for shops that pass sail the Alamo right up here. Spanish for a passageway to the Alamo, this very beautiful area on the inside. It will take you out to right in front of the Alamo, on Alamo Plaza Street, and continue on straight through there at that point. Now, just past the Hyatt Regency Hotel, we're going to be sailing by the old Casino Club building, coming up to the bottom of our boat over here. Founded over here in 1927 as a social club with German immigrants. Now it's home to a Saltgrass Steakhouse restaurant here, however, as well as an apartment complex on the very top, where Lean Huckman used to live. She was the widow of Robert Harvey Harold Huckman. Robert Harvey Harold Huckman was the architect who designed the entire riverwalk all around us. This was all his vision right here. Robert Huckman designed all of the sidewalks, staircases, bridges, benches, everything you see around us here in the mid-1920s, and presented his designs. The city leaders in 1929, hoping to secure funding for the riverwalk. Sadly, city leaders rejected the proposed riverwalk, but Robert Huckman wasn't going to give up that easily. Throughout the next few years, he was able to gather up some popular support and funding for his vision for a riverwalk from a variety of sources, including Moy Maverick, a U.S. congressman from San Antonio, who was very intrigued by the idea of a river walk. Moy Maverick asked his good friend, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, to send the Works Projects Administration down here, which President Roosevelt was reluctant to do at first. In fact, Moy Maverick had asked him so many times, put so much pressure on him, so that at one point it's even rumored that President Roosevelt said, just give Moy Maverick the money for his downrivers to quit bothering me already. Finally, after much pressure, the Works Projects Administration came down here and built the river walk all around us. On March 27, 1939 until March 14, 1941, just under 2 full years. Though Robert Huckman himself, he's considered the father of the river walk to this day. In fact, right after the river walk was completed in 1941, Robert Huckman set up his old office just to the Waterbound boat on the bottom river level of this last building at the corner over here. Where you look up on this balcony on street level as we approach, you'll see Robert Huckman's old office sign with those initials R.H.H. Huckman, followed by AIA, which stands for American Institute of Architects. If you look at Robert Huckman's old office sign, just down from it, you'll see a bust of Robert Huckman at the base of the staircase over here as well, along with a few plaques around in here that tell a little bit more about his history. In case anyone wants to come down here later, read up on him, learn a little bit more. Like I said, he stood up shop over here again in 1941, right after the river walk was completed, because he wanted to prove to the business what thrived upon the river walk. Despite his best efforts though, early years, it didn't do too well. Crime used to be a huge problem down here. Got so bad that at one point, this river walk was even declared off limits to the military because of safety concerns. What actually changed the river walk's lot, made it much safer down here, and as a result, more successful to this day, obviously, was the World's Fair that our city hosted in 1968. In the years leading up to that World's Fair, 1968, the city raised funds in order to help clean out the river, beef up security, and also build a man-made extension of the river that we're entering into right here. Beginning underneath this low footbridge right here, the rest of the way down, it all used to be land up here. The city built the bridges on street level down along the way and dug it out underneath them, all the way down to 5 feet below us, so that they could extend the river and the river walk all the way up to the Hemisphere Plaza, which is where that World's Fair took place from April 6th until October 6th, 1968, with full 6 months of which millions of people came down here to San Antonio. Many of whom found their way to the river walk here, thought that it was so beautiful. So when a lot of them went home and told all of their friends about the river walk, their friends came down here, went back home, told all of their friends, and so on and so on. And now, thanks to word of mouth, since that World's Fair, this river walk to this day is in constant rivalry with the Alamo. On the coveted top of the most visited tourist destination in all of Texas, which has made it much safer down here for the military, which is a good thing since San Antonio is also a very big military town. Birthplace, in fact, the U.S. Air Force, after the first U.S. military flight took place here in San Antonio. March 2nd, 1910, by Lieutenant Benjamin Delahaw Boyd, good friend and student of Wright Brothers. San Antonio to this day is also home to Lackland Air Force Base as well, which is where everyone within the enlisted branch of the United States Air Force comes for basic training, earning it the nickname the Gateway to the Air Force. We wouldn't let my friend go ahead of us just because he's new, so it's better to have him ahead of us than behind us. But also by letting him go ahead of us, allows me to point out this one sculpture around this one turn up to the bottom of the boat of these 2 giant metal flowers that were built using spare bicycle parts. This right here is a sculpture that's named Bloom. It was designed by a local artist down here named Leticia Huerta. If you look at Bloom here, just past it, continuing to look up to the bottom of the boat in the sky here, you'll see what was the centerpiece for the World's Fair in '68. The Tower of America's right up here. Founded up here that year in 1968, and at the time it stood as the tallest freestanding tower in the entire United States of America, as it is 750 feet to the top of the antenna, just a little bit taller than the Seattle Space Needle. and it retained that title as tallest freestanding tower in the United States of America for a good 28 years, until the Stratosphere. Las Vegas was founded in 1996. That Tower of America is now still open up there to this day in the Hemisphere Plaza, which is a city park to this day, on the other side of the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, which is at the end of this extension way to the Water Bombo at this fork here. Itself is unfortunately closed to our regular tour boats due to very high winds down here at the end. So instead, we're going to take a left turn here at this fork and enter into the River Center extension here in just a few seconds. What we do though, you look directly ahead of our boat at the corner here, you'll see the latest addition to the Riverwalk. Statue right here named Stargazer. It was designed by a Mexican artist named Pedro Reyes, which depicts a woman looking at a star that she's holding in her right hand, hence Stargazer. Just put up here March of last year. We'll go and sail by Stargazer into the River Center extension here, like I said, which itself was added on later. Dug up here down to 5 feet deep the rest of the way down in the mid-80s, so that they could extend this man-made area of the river all the way up to the River Center Mall. River Center Mall was founded in 1988, but before they founded the River Center Mall, they wanted to put these two Marriott hotels here in 1979. Marriott to the Water Bombo, that is connected to the Riverwalk, they had no trouble putting up. The Marriott on the left, over on the other side of Commerce Street. In that spot here used to sit the old Fairmont Hotel, an abandoned building which they wanted to tear down to make room for this Marriott. The San Antonio Conservation Society got involved and claimed that the Fairmont Hotel up here was too historic to tear down, since it used to be an old salesman's hotel. So instead, after more than 5 years of negotiating, raising funds and planning, they took the 3-story, 1,600-ton Fairmont Hotel that used to be up here, loaded it onto 288 tires and 30 steel beams, and then wrapped it up in steel cables, which were connected to trucks, which dragged that 1,600-ton Fairmont Hotel March 30th to April 4th in 1985, just about 6 blocks south into the west behind us, to its new location at South Alamo and Webb Streets. We're then reopened as a first-class hotel, and in its old spot, they were then able to put the Marriott River Center to the Water Bombo here. Followed, of course, by the River Center Mall right here, whose heart we're going to be entering into right here. Itself, the third largest mall here in all of San Antonio, beaten out only by the North Star Ingram Park malls. It is, however, the only mall here in all of San Antonio, the river going right into its very center, hence the River Center. Itself has over 100 stores and restaurants here, 2 movie theaters, regular AMC movie theater, plus an IMAX theater, much taller and wider screen, and also a couple of neat little virtual reality simulator rides and Skyrail and Zipline on the very top floor here as well. Also, you look to the Marable, they're getting ready for some live music here, which usually starts at 5:30. They've been doing that every Saturday this past summer. It looks like they're going to be having some tonight still. It's just going to last about 2 hours, but still, you know, you want to come on down here after the tour is done. See, grab some ice cream and just listen to some live music here.
I know I've heard a band inside of this mall here before. Right there. Sticks already have music. I think I ate it just for the time.
Now, as we exit this whole River Center Mall area here, after San Antonio hosted the Wolves there in 1968, a lot of the countries who attended it were very grateful to our city for having hosted our Wolves there. Some of them even gave us some lovely presents afterwards, one of which was the country of Portugal, whose government had a pavilion down here in the Hemisphere Plaza, where in front of their pavilion, that is a statue, the very man this river and the city built around it were named after. That statue, again, of the man that this river and the city built around it were named after, that statue was eventually placed just around this one turn, up to the bottom of our boat in the corner over here. statue right here of Saint Anthony de Padua, who's depicted as holding the baby Jesus in the center on top of a Bible. He was a 12th century Catholic patron saint of lost and stolen items and children, as well as the patron saint of Portugal, hence the reason why the Portuguese government had the statue